I'm going to share my #1 tip for fighting fatigue. Fatigue is something that should never happen when you're fishing. When you're spey casting, if you use proper form, you can end up fishing all day without being tired, without your arm being sore, getting good, efficient casts, and not using and not always counting on your top hand to bail you out, which is why we get tired, and after 3 days of fishing, you can't do it anymore. And that should never happen. It just really shouldn't happen. And I'm not just saying that to be correct. I'm saying it because I've seen it happen. And all that needs to happen is you need to revamp your entire spey cast by using your bottom hand and your body to do the sweep and not just your top hand. If you use your bottom hand, you'll get power. Now, they always say, you know, you always hear bottom hand for power and then top hand for guidance. And that is more true in the sweep and in the first part of the cast than the forward cast. For the sweep, if we use our bottom hand and body to rotate, we're more likely to use it in the forward cast. So in order to do that, I devised a special tool. I learned it off a Golf Channel, and that is put a sock under your elbow and keep that sock pinned against your rib cage for the sweep. I'm just gonna keep it pinned in under my elbow for the entire cast, because that's not a bad drill either. If you like to lift up, you might want to use a little, you know, cut up a water weenie or something. This is my 13-foot 7/8 Deer Creek. I've got a Beulah switch, a Beulah Elixir switch, which is Beulah's switch Scandi line, because I like really short Scandi lines if I'm going to be doing underhand casting. It may be an issue, but it's a good way to keep your form proper. You can do it for Skagit. You can do it for underhand. Okay, great drill for getting your bottom hand involved. Okay, so it's fine for a really short Scandi head. I got a like 17-foot leader on there. And I'm able to use my body and my bottom hand for the sweep. And when you have your sock here, pinned here, you can do anything you want with your top hand. Anything you want. You almost can't. The only thing wrong you could do would be to pull back, but you want to swivel it. My friend Bruce taught me that if your hand stays in front of your face, you're less likely to have your rod tip dip down at the end of your sweep, like that. So this sock drill keeps your hand in front of your face. I don't want my hand to get back here in the sweep. Okay, I've got my 15-foot Bruce and Walker power light, 63-foot Boss long line. Okay, let's see if I can cast it with my sock pinned to my rib cage. Okay, this where I'm using a long line, if you're trying to cast, if you're starting on your journey casting longer lines, I would almost guarantee you that the biggest issue you're going to have is when you sweep. You're going to probably sweep and drop the rod tip right here. So the rod tip goes down, your line lays on the water, and you get your stick. That's way too much stick. So by keeping our hand in front of our face, it helps us during the sweep to keep that rod tip going up. Now normally, I might, when I fire, I might lift my hand. But for this, I might lift my elbow when I fire. But you don't have to drift up. I use, well, we'll get into that later. So my top hand can do whatever I want if my elbow's pinned against my chest. Except you don't want to pull like this. You want to swivel it more by using rotation of your body. You can do anything you want. You can rotate your body, you can lock your arms, and then you can lock your arms if you want and totally use your body. You can start with your hands pushed out, lock your arms and push out. You can really do the sweep any number of ways, as long as you're not pulling with your top hand. This, you'd want to, it'll feel really weird to you, I guarantee you that. You can practice your forward cast with the sock under your arm especially for Scandi and Skagit. There's no reason to have your arms out here. You want that baby pinned to your rib cage, or at least reasonably tame. And what usually happens, you decide, and I do this all the time, I decide I'm gonna launch one and I don't pay attention. And next thing I know, I got my arms out here and I'm using too much top hand and not enough bottom hand. So it's counterintuitive. You have to get tighter in this box here when you're casting further. When your cast is falling apart, you want to get tighter. You want to pin that sock in there. You want to sweep with your bottom hand. You don't want to get loosey-goosey or that rod tip starts dropping, especially with long lines. You can get away with it with Scandi and Skagit. And that's why I'm so adamant about it. I want my hand back here to cast. You can do that with a short line, but with a long line, you get into trouble if you do that. That's why this is so important if you want to progress in your casting, that you keep everything tight.